Alright, you know what? Bricklayer hammer, I think that's what we're doing today. Just going to try to get the face cleaned up and get this a little more consistent. Sand and refinish the handle. This is the video. Right, so, well, first things first, we're taking the sticker off. Probably. It's an old sticker. Might not want to come off of there too bad. Yep, and it's one of the cheap ones, so it's going to come off in a bunch of tiny little chunks. I mean, we're going to sand the handle down, but I still like to not sand through the sticker, and I don't really want to gouge up this handle any more than I have to. Is there a better way? Of course. This is my way because it works, although it might be not the best. All right, so steers off. I think the next thing is going to be and we'll take it to the belt sander. I don't need everybody getting mad at me because I'm not wearing a mask or something. It's not your lungs. I'll be fine. So we're just going to clean up this edge a little bit, and we're going to kind of round this back piece out and get it a bit more consistent. See how it's smoothing, but you can see where the pitting is. I'm just trying to get most of that out of there. This is not a precision hammer, but we got most of it out. Still got, that damage around the edge in this corner. That edge is a bit rolled. Starting to get pretty warm though, so gonna let that cool off, and we're going to, on this back piece, it was a lot further off than it looked. So we're going to have to take this whole thing down flat and then put the radius on it. Otherwise, it's going to take forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the stone side and get it all flat, and then we'll go from there. What I did is we flattened it. So essentially what I've done with this edge is we had the edge coming back. It was all messed up, so we took it off to a 90-degree edge. And then that last bit I did, I took this corner off. So now, instead of it being a 90, we've got a bit of a dip like that. So now when I take it to the belt sander, I don't have to take all that off with the belt. I can just kind of round it out from there. Basically, I did the heavy work with the stuff. This might not be how they're supposed to be done, but this is what's going to work good for, what I use it for. Got the face is mostly cleaned up. That was 80 grit, so it's not super fine. Like I said, this is not a precision tool. I kind of wanted the end cleaned up a little bit. So now, I believe we'll start on the handle. All right. That should move. Just get some sandpaper. This is 220. I don't know for sure how much we're going to have to take off. Might have to get something a little more coarse. Maybe not. Won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough. A lot better shape than it's currently in. Whoops. I'm just feeling. Your biggest thing when redoing handles is feel. You can feel all the little catches and imperfections with your hands. Looking doesn't always help. Not always. I mean, you definitely want to look at it, but you can tell a lot by feel. So ideally, I would have put a whole new handle on this. Took the head off, got it completely cleaned up, brand new handle. But this one's in here pretty good. It's working fine. So we're just gonna do a quick finish, and it will serve its purpose just fine. However, if you guys want to see a beginning to end refinish of an axe head, handle, and everything, let me know, because I think I've got a couple of them that need to be done here before too long. If that's something you want to see, I might as well do it. Alright, so got a little bit of like a speed bump here. I can't tell if that's grain run out or what that was. There's a little bit of tapering and grain run out both. So, this is a super old tool. It wasn't machined to perfection, so it's not that big of a deal. Just while I'm sanding it, might as well try to get that out. I mean, I got to start with 220 grit. Usually I got to start with something a lot coarser. This is going to be a pretty quick finish. Got the blower. That's fairly smooth. It'll be close enough. Now for the fun part. Using map gas because I don't have propane. One thing you got to realize when you're burning these handles is you have to sand it again afterwards, like after you burn it. So if it looks a little bit too light, absolutely hit it again. So that is kind of what it looks like right now. I guess I should have turned the light over where we was working. Would have been beneficial. There we go. So when you burn it, it expands all of the wood grain. So where it was super smooth, now when you don't want to run your hand up so much, you want to run it across the grain. You can feel where it's sticking up everywhere. And once you oil it, it'll help a tiny bit. On this, maybe it wouldn't be so important, but like on axe handles where you're sliding your hand up and down with a lot of force, do not take that out of context. last thing you want is a huge splinter coming off of there. So you want to feel where those ridges are, and you want to get those sanded down. You want it to be smooth like it was before. And it doesn't take very much at all. Just go over it really quick. With the sandpaper that we used before. I mean, so it's already kind of plugged up with wood. Make sure you get the bottom. You don't want to miss that. You don't want a nice looking handle and then go to set it down and wonder where you went wrong in your life. So that. Now, there's a couple more little pieces. And there's some ridges up here, but your hand's not going to be up there so much, so I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm more concerned about right down here. All right, I think that's good. Now, you don't have to blow it off, especially with the next step. So you can see how, let's take you down a little bit. You can see how cloudy that is, right? And this is where, move this a little closer where it's in the light. You can see how it's super cloudy. And this is where like a lot of brand new people are going to start getting super nervous, thinking that, if they put in a new handle, they did all this work on this handle and they burned it, and now it looks exactly the thing I was talking about. I missed a piece in it. It didn't give me a splinter, but it poked me and broke off. And these old handles can be a better wood, but a bit more temperamental. Jesus. And there's a pretty good sized crack in the back that I can't fix. It's not worth fixing. I'm not going to. Like I said, this is where a lot of new people are going to start getting super nervous that they have ruined the handle they just spent a bunch of time on it. Don't worry. This is the cool part. The second cool part. Alright, so I mostly use these Scotch Shop rags. Not sponsored. I wanted a big box of rags. So we're gonna do. There we go. This stuff. Boiled linseed oil works for so many things. So many things. I got this old jug. Wow, it looks like it's been through all of Vietnam. But there was a difference between the boiled and some other type of linseed oil. All I know is I was supposed to go with boiled, and I've had this stuff for years. So, one thing to think about. You sanded the handle, you've taken off kind of the coating that it had, if it had one. I'm trying to warm my hands up, I can't feel them. You have burned the wood, which, like I said, is going to dry it out. It's going to cause it to pull in, and that's why you get those ridges you got to sand off so they don't stab you in the hand. So you have essentially severely dehydrated this wood and taken off its protective layer. So we're going to take boiled linseed oil, one of those rags, Ideally, you would want it to be warmer, just outside in general. It just kind of helps it soak in a bit better when it's not all goopy and it's more liquid. But you are just going to throw that on everywhere. See how all that cloudiness just went away? That this is the best part of refinishing any handle, finishing any woodworking project. It is putting that coat of oil on it that makes the the 20 minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks, some people months of work putting on that finishing coat brings it all together. Then you've got that super nice old burnt handle look. See if I can get this light a bit better. Now, you put on that one coat, and you saw I put it on pretty thick. And most of it has already soaked into the wood. So we're going to leave it for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then we're going to put on another coat. And I guess I'll bring you guys back when we do that bit. Okay, I pointed my heat. That dryer hose that's constantly making noise is actually a diesel heater for I don't know, like living in your van or camping or whatever. It's supposed to run off of a car battery, but there's an adapter that comes with it, so I can just plug it in. It runs off of diesel. So that's what I've got for heat out here right now. But that is also kind of helpful with this, because I had it kind of pointed in this direction. It helped warm up the oil and get it to soak in a bit quicker. So this time it's going to take a little bit less oil. First time we just kind of threw it on there. This time we're going to cover the whole thing in more oil. But this time we're really going to try to work it into the handle a bit. And yes, there's rags, I'm sure, like actual rags or something meant for this, so you don't get these little fuzzies. But when you use it, those fuzzies are going to come out. They're going to get burn up or fall off or whatever. I'm not overly concerned about it personally. We're just going to try to really get that into any tiny places maybe we didn't see. And, you do this a few times, you'll kind of figure out what you like and what works best for you. This is just how I've done it. I've done quite a few axes for me, for other people. This is just what's worked for me thus far. And honestly, the smoother you get your handle, the less fuzzies that are going to come off of like these shop rags. because there's less places for it to catch. But all right, so we got this in pretty well finished. You don't want to forget the top. Now, since that already looks like not great, I'm not gonna burn it. Just gonna take a tiny, just a teeny tiny little dab of linseed oil. Just kind of put it on there and down in the cracks a little bit so it doesn't come loose. Now we're gonna try. You want to protect your steel, obviously. You don't want to get it all rusty or in that same shape it was in. So one way you can do that, ideally with the handle off, you can heat up the steel and then hit it with that linseed oil, and it what is it, polymerization? That's the right word. It kind of seals on here and turns into like a waterproof cover. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get this hot enough with the handle in it without risking the handle, but I am going to try. Ooh, that was entirely too much. Oh, I've got oil everywhere. That was a poor choice on my behalf. All right, so it's smoking a little bit. When you put this on, you want it to smoke. That means it's getting into the steel and it's doing something, right? So ideally we would have wanted a little more smoke than that. And we'll throw it on the front too. Ideally, you don't really want this on your striking surfaces, but we're just getting it on there real quick before it cools down. Throw a little bit more on up here because I got that a bit toasty. I got oil absolutely everywhere. And then, it's not going to soak into the steel like a sponge. So we're going to take a dry towel, kind of the same thing as the handle. Whatever's in there is in there. That is really hot still. Man, that was warm. We're just going to go over and wipe off your striking surfaces. Kind of work it into the metal as you're cleaning off the excess, kind of. Sorry, I ain't exactly a greatest teacher, but I don't know. Hopefully, I did it again. I done burnt my hand. Not the greatest teacher. I don't know. Hopefully, y'all can learn something from it, or at least get you started. There's people out there that have got miles more knowledge than I do. That can show you way better ways to do it or just easier. I'm just a dude that does stuff. So now we have, I need to stop touching the end of this hammer. Nice, shiny, burnt rustic handle. The head is all sealed. Got a cleaned up back on it. Got a pretty shiny front. Flash it by real fast. It looks like it's a mirror finish. Don't look at it too closely. But yeah, I'd say that turned out pretty good. Yep, so I was refinishing this bricklayer hammer that I use for muffler work. I think it turned out pretty nice. It is going to eventually need a new handle. Whoever put this one on used some shims, or well, sticks they snapped off in there. It seems to be holding on all right. It's still not cooled off. It seems to be holding on all right, so I'm going to keep this one on here for the time being, but it will eventually need a new handle. But yeah, I feel like it turned out all right. If there's, anything in specific you want to know about, whether it's sharpening, chainsaw chains, knives, axes, redoing handles on bigger things, anything like that, just send me a message. I'm doing stuff like that out here all the time, and if it'll help you get something done or start something that you wanted to do and don't know how, I'm going to be doing it anyway. Just I'll try to help you get a start on it the best I can. That being said, aside from my hand that I burnt 4 or 5 times not paying attention, it's getting kind of chilly out here. The dogs are getting irritated with each other, so getting really irritated. It's probably about time for me to go inside. So I hope that was at least somewhat helpful, or at least entertaining to watch me burn myself a few times. I'll see you guys in the next video.